They need another Shatter. $13 damage in play. Are you serious? Let's take our draw. We get another draw. Griffin in play, both ghouls back. And a third. Woof. Recovering from these shatters like it ain't no thing. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch Hello Good Game. I really appreciate it. Today we are looking at Life Skills, which is our last starter deck within Magic the Gathering Arena. If you are looking for info and upgrade guides for the other starter decks, check out the free-to-play playlist. They're all in there, right? So we're going to break down this deck, kind of talk about it a little bit, discuss it, not too much though, and then we're going to get into my upgraded version where we're going to break down each individual card, talking about what they all do. Then we're going to look at strategies and synergies. How do all of those cards come together to form a really nice coherent archetype? Then we'll look at some gameplay footage I've recorded. We'll break down all of the playlines and interactions within the new standard 2021 meta, which is really cool. Everybody's been waiting for Zendikar. They want to get a head start on it, trying out some decks, and these new starter decks are a really great way to do that, especially if you're new to the game. So it's not quite enough to know how your deck works alone, but you need to know how to best interact with the other decks within the environment or the meta game, right? So after this, we do have my closing thoughts, upgrade guides. We're going to talk about this in the deck as well, because this is a basic guide. We didn't want to stray too far away from what had already been in the starter deck, right? Because if you're having to go hunt all new uncommons, then what's the point? And then we, of course, left in, some of the rares and mythics that you received within the starter version as well, because you might not have a lot of those. So keep the high value cards that you have, even if they aren't, super synergized with the rest of the deck theme. They're still strong and they're still going to get you value within your matches. With that all getting out of the way, I want to remind you guys that if you find any value within this video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, a thumbs up. It's as easy as that. And if you are looking for anything, it's all right below the video here in this little link tree link. You're going to get all of your stuff, access to our Discord, our YouTube, our Twitch. Everything we've got going on is right here below in the link tree link. And then we are using MTG Assistant today, which you can also gain access to right below this video in the description. Easy as that. Download it, enabled your detailed logs, and you're good to go. So this is MTG Assistant. We can get right into it, and it has all the information that you're ever going to want. Deck stats, deck write-ups, deck videos, recent events. We can look at the event metagames, the arena metagames, so you can see which decks the majority of people are doing, how those decks are doing, right? If you're missing any cards, which decks you have access to, etc., etc., etc. So again, link for that in the description below. And before we get into it, a huge shout out to all of our support on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube for making this possible. Thank you guys. I know not only myself is internally grateful, but the community who's been enjoying this content as well. So let's get that deck discussion started here. Again, this is the free-to-play version. First, I want to mention the rares that we received in the deck. Every deck came with a dual land, or at least the upgraded versions did, the dual color decks. The upgraded decks are not all rotation-proof through next year. Only the decks with the A symbol, and these A symbol cards came into play within the monocolor starter decks. So these cards are rotation-proof for now, but next year they'll leave, whereas the monocolor decks, in theory, I've heard are supposed to stay from here until the end of eternity, or till they get changed or updated, etc., etc. So we get to Temple of Silence. This is great. I really, really recommend that new players focus on their rare lands, get that collection done first. It's like a framework or a nice base for you to build off of from there. It makes the multiple color decks much more viable and consistent for you to play. So you're going to have a great experience once your land is more stable. We've got a Clackbridge Troll. Now this isn't competitive whatsoever. This is a jank card. I've not really seen this in any tournaments or, really in the Mythic ladder for that matter. Just in some jank builds. It's pretty cool to combine with a field wipe that does X damage, like a Deafening Clarion, so you can wipe your opponent's goats. But again, Nonetheless, it stays in our upgraded version. Baneslayer Angel. Now, this is a Mythic, which isn't seeing competitive play now, but it's an amazing sideboard card. It's a great best of one card because of all the mono white or mono red in best of one. So I think Baneslayer Angel is fine. You know, this might not be a card that you want 4 copies of, but to have 1 or 2 of these, you know, I'm all in for that. Again, I think we've got a copy of Vito here. This is a very powerful card no matter what format it's in. So it's very cool that they were able to hook us up with one of these. We also have an Iberos Intervention. This is a, you know, not competitive, but it does fit fairly well with a jank build, right? And we're trying to use it, again, in conjunction simply with Vito. But without Vito, I'm not too sure that this is really a viable card most days. Potentially a sideboard card for the -X, but really not going to get us there. We also have a Shadow Spear, which is pretty cool. This does see competitive play quite often. An amazing sideboard card if you come in against an aggro deck where you need some life gain. This will get you there. This is great with mono green, for example, as well. Not only giving you life gain, but trample as well. And that Speaker of the Heavens, not entirely competitive in traditional best of 3, but it is semi-competitive, I believe, in best of 1. It's hard to deal with unless you know that it's coming, and then it's easily sideboarded against. However, if this hits you by surprise and you don't have anything, it's going to be an uphill battle, right? So Speaker of the Heavens is a good rare as far as I'm concerned. So Speaker, Shadow Spear, Vito, Baneslayer, these are good rares for me. Temple of Silence as well. The bad ones that aren't really as powerful, the Clackbridge Troll, the Intervention, right? Stuff like this. So that is the rares that we got within the deck. As far as the general strategy, it is just really based on dealing damage and gaining life. We've got the flyers through the Patrician, and at the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, deal 3 damage. So that's really, really helpful because of all the life gain within the deck. So we've got chip damage and then fair amounts of life gain, which can trigger our Patrician. They can trigger Vito, and primarily they trigger the Griffin Aerie, which makes more flyers, and then we get more chip damage done. So we're just getting in the air, doing chip damage, putting out creatures that have effects that utilize the life gain. Those will deal more damage to our opponent, and we've got a little bit of removal to keep us alive, keep us going, right? So yeah, that's the general deck. Turn your cards sideways, smash your opponent. Make sure that your Speaker of Heavens taps on your turn because you can only do it anytime you cast a sorcery. Let's get into the upgraded version now, though. Life Skills 2. Okay, so jumping right into it, we didn't want to change the deck too much, but we did adjust the values of a lot of things and a few specific cards to make it stronger. It's really about increasing the consistency for us. And we also have other suggested upgrades, but we're going to get to that at the end of the video. Let's get right into the deck list, and we'll talk about the upgrades while we get to them. Starting out with our 1-drops, we have 4 copy of Alced of Life's Bounty. This is a 1/1 with lifelink. We can pay 1 to sacrifice it. Target creature or enchantment you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Again, our Vito is a very high priority card. Alced's there to give him protection. Light of Hope, instant speed, choose 1, you gain 4 life, destroy target enchantment, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Primarily focusing on the first one to gain life, which does those triggers that we just talked about, and that we will talk about more in the strategy and synergy parts, but it can also be used defensively to destroy target enchantment. The +1/+1 counter, you know, that's not really what we're going for here, but potentially could save you from death during battle tricks. 4 copies of Speaker of the Heavens. Now we've upgraded this. We had 1 copy, we've pushed it to 4, so we've added 3. A 1/1 with lifelink and vigilance. We can tap it to create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Activate this ability only if you have at least 7 or more than your starting life total, and only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Now, I have forgotten about this. I'm going to be honest. I think I'm being clever. I'm like, I'm going to activate it instant speed, and then I can't do it, and I'm shocked, right? Just because I've not read the last line of text there. So it has vigilance, which means you can attack with it as long as there's no blockers that will kill it, or potentially flash blockers. Look out for that. And then once you've attacked, gain that life, because it has vigilance, you can tap it on your second main phase to create that angel still being on your turn. We have a single copy of Erebos Intervention, instant speed, choose one. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, and you gain X life. Exile up to twice X cards from the graveyards. Pretty cool, right? We've not pushed this up any. I think it fits good with the deck. We've built around it, but I don't really think that there's a reason for you guys to be spending your rare wildcards on Erebos Intervention. I think they're much better off being put into the Speaker of the Heavens. Into our 2-drops, 4 copies of Revitalize, instant speed for 2. You gain 3 life, draw a card. Not only do you gain life to trigger all of those effects on the field, but it replaces itself. 4 copies of Griffin Aerie, push this up to 4, making it more consistent. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 white Griffin creature token with flying. Into our 3-drops, Silvermote Ghoul. This is a 3/1, and at the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, return Silvermote Ghoul from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. We can also pay 2 to sacrifice at instant speed, drawing ourselves a card. So whenever he gets targeted with removal, boom, we can sack him, draw a card, goes to the grave, and our opponent's removal should fizzle, especially with things like a Brazen Borrower or a Bone Crusher Giant, and then you don't have to deal with that creature later on. It goes directly to the grave. 4 copies of Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Again, adding 3 copies of this, making it much more consistent, much more powerful. A 1/3, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. We can also pay 5 creatures you control, gain a lifelink until end of turn, which would in turn re-trigger his first ability when they all deal their combat damage, which is pretty cool. Indulging Patrician, again, pushing this up into the 4 copy, making it more consistent, a 1/4, flying lifelink at the beginning of your end step. If you gained 3 or more life this turn, each opponent loses 3 life. 2 copies of Faith's Fetters. This is an enchantment aura, enchant permanent. When it enters the battlefield, gain 4 life. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. We have a single Clackbridge Troll. This was in the original deck. Doesn't sync well with this deck at all, but we've left it in there because it's pretty powerful. And if you don't have lots of cool cards, then sure, why not? It's an 8/8 with trample and haste, which is neat. However, when it enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3/0/1 white goat creature tokens, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, tap Clackbridge Troll. You gain 3 life and draw a card. So, he basically has to take 3 turns off. You do get the draws, which is really, really nice, but your opponent will have plenty of time to find removal to take care of it. These spells also have 2 copies of Baneslayer's Angel. We had 1, we pushed it to 2. We could go further if you had them. I wouldn't recommend buying more than 2 unless you really wanted to focus on it. 5/5, flying first strike, lifelink, protection from dragons, protection from demons, which basically doesn't really come into effect ever. However, the life gain will help our deck synergy, plus it has evasion through flying and first strike, so it makes a great blocker as well. Anywho, we've got 9 plains, 9 swamps, and 4 Temple of Silences. Again, increasing this number up to 4 just to make it more consistent. As far as dual colored cards go, we don't have anything until turn 5 for our Angel and our Troll, so we should be able to get both colors out in both pairs by then, and the Temple of Silence will make that happen. Again, we do have some other suggested upgrades, but we're going to talk about those at the end of the video. Right now, let's break down the strategies and synergies within this deck. So we already talked about it in the first deck, and it's not much different. Gain life, that life gain triggers damage on your opponent. We've got 4 copies of Vito now, so we should be able to drop him consistently early on in the game and then just pile on with life gain, which deals damage, right? So Vito is our ideal 3-drop. Our ideal 2-drop is the Griffin Aerie. If our opponent has removal, Outset of Life's Bounty is very good because it can give him protection, keep it around, and then you can continue all that jazz. We also had the Speaker of the Heavens, so once we do get above 27, that can make angels, which is amazing. So again, we're getting set up early on, either Outset or Speaker on turn 1, turn 2, Griffin Aerie, turn 3, if he doesn't have removal, Vito. If he does, you may want to wait until you have 4 mana, and at that point you can play Vito and now protect it with your Outset. That's a potential route to take that could win you the game because now you've disrupted their removal, they don't have it in hand, and you get some free turns with your Vito rather than just having him instantly Bite the Dust, right? Where this deck really shines though, because, you know, the removal is going to happen, you're not always going to be protecting against it, is the Ghoul. Whenever you gain 3 or more life this turn, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Basically everything in our deck gains 3 life. Light of Hope, Revitalize, Fate's Fetters, right? Baneslayer Angel, this all gains us a mass amount of life. And then we have little things too, like Outset of Life's Bounty, the Speaker of Heavens, Intervention, the Patrician. This can add up to 3 life pretty easily as well. So, you know, our opponent wipes us, as they will be doing. Ghouls go to the grave. Aeries don't leave the battlefield, right? They're still in play, and it's a stackable effect. We draw 3 life with a Revitalize, draw a card, all the ghouls come out, all the griffins come out from the Aerie, and we still drew a card to progress the game. So it's hard for our opponent to get us out of gas. They can do it, but it's going to take 3 or 4, potentially 5 wipes to fully shut us down without dealing with the specific engines as they appear, right? So it's a very strong deck. It's a very resilient deck, and it's a lot of fun. I've been having some of the funnest matches this week with this life skills upgraded starter deck. So that's the general strategy, right? Is just get onto the field, gain life, have that life gain deal damage to your opponent, and just progress situational. Fate's Fetters, again, it's going to trigger our Griffins. It's going to trigger the ghouls back into play. It triggers Vito. It's really going to help with Speaker of the Heavens getting to 27. And then if our opponent has any blockers, maybe they play an Uro, which normally is like, wow, he's got 6/6. That sucks. It's going to gain life when it attacks us. No, 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 no. Not can it only not block next turn? You get in, right? Normally you'd get in anyways because of all the flyers, but it can't attack you. It can't be brought back into play. It's just a great way to shut down stuff like Uro and you know, let you close out the game. We also have Baneslayer Angel, which should get around to anything, right? There's not many flyers stronger than that, especially for 5, unless they've got, you know, a huge Krasis, and then that's going to be problematic all in on its own. But the great thing about the deck is if they do go bigger than you, you know, just play defensively. You don't have to crush your opponent with 6 Griffins to deal lethal damage. You could be making a Griffin or 2 or 3, depending on how many copies of the enchantment you have each turn. You've got chump blockers. That's amazing. You're drawing more cards. You've got more life gain effects. You know, Griffin, Griffin, Griffin. Eventually, you're at 5 mana with Vito. Boom, you pop lifelink on all of your Griffins. That's lethal damage right there. You only need 5 Griffins with lifelink to deal lethal damage, right? 20 damage if you get 5 Griffins in the air to hit. The Griffins will do 10, and then if they have lifelink from Vito, that will deal another 10 as well, right? So it doesn't take a lot to win the games here. You know, and that's without the Revitalize. So you're going to be casting things on top of your Aerie and on top of your Vito to make the Griffins beforehand anyway. So you probably won't need 5 of them. You might only need 3 Griffins, right? So this is easily achievable. Moving past that. Easily achievable. And with that being said, let's get into today's gameplay footage. I know you're going to enjoy it. I'm live on YouTube every morning, 6 a.m. At 7 a.m., we're on Twitch. And then we're back on YouTube at 6 p.m. all times Mountain Standard Central. If you don't want to do the time conversion, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. We also showed you the Linktree link, which takes you to all of our platforms. And then you can, you know, always be in the loop. Primarily the Discord, so you don't miss out on anything. We just gave over 120,000 gems away last week, and we have another 350 to go. So subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, don't miss out, and be sure to hit like this video as well to help us. So enjoy the gameplay footage, and we're going to be back in a few minutes to talk about potential other upgrades for you guys. Take care. I think really the deck just revolves around dropping this Aerie on turn 2. You get that, you're good to go. Especially if you can stack them. Pulling out any removal they have, right? Just getting it out of their hand. Hopefully they only had a single copy. Hopefully we pull a land and can Vito with our Light of Hope immediately. No cards in any grave, so that minus X doesn't work. What are we discarding?
Care to volunteer?
A Revitalize? Probably. Bummer. No land. In your graveyard. Let's just go for it. Down to 2. We're prone to removal here. Yeah. Bummer. Doubles down on it. Wow, what an affair. Tough. Let's toss our light.
Sorry for your loss.
Revitalize. We'll draw a card and bring our Ghoul back into play. Triggers both our Griffins. Liliana's dead next turn unless he cleans our field. Down to 2 cards. Her plus eats their hand away as well. And we should have discarded the Ghoul as well to bring it back. No discard
Get
here.
out of my way already.
That is quite alright with us. Patrician in play. Hit with our Griffin. Village Rites to replenish their hands. On our end step, mana untaps. Perfecto. Drops a land, which they don't need. Another Rider. Great. Well, when we pull our land, that's going to be ideal. Let's try to trade with the Rider here. We do. Now we can gain the life, bring it back. And even touch 26 life, prepared to go to 27. Alright. This is a pretty cool hand. We've got 2 Aeries, a Vito. Scrying off the start. No play for 1, so coming in tapped is of no consequence, and the scry is of, you know, pretty high value or benefit for us. Revitalize is cool. Triggers our Griffins, triggers Vito. Draws us a card to replace itself. Hopefully pulling to 4 and 5 land. I see a lot of Rakdos Sacrifice. Ooh! That's terrifying. Quite literally. I say let's actually just risk it. Go in, try to play our Aerie on top of our Revitalize next turn for 4. Trident, we dodged removal. Three damage here. And 2 Griffins. We have to get rid of our Patrician there, sadly. We want to get Alset on the board to protect Vito. But we also really just want to do this. Gain 4 life, deal 4 damage. We attack for 5, make 2 2/2s. And we're at 27. Here's Terror. Disgusting. Let's hit our Vito. And we all attack for lethal. Gives everybody life gain, which just, you know, is going to deal that much damage again that he's not able to... Ugh. Ugh. Opponent goes first. Not a great hand. Not a bad hand. We have both colors. We have 2 speakers, which is one of our upgrades. And a Baneslayer, if we can get there. It's kind of nice. You either have, like, Vito on the field that you can use his ability for 5, or you just can play your Angel, which is almost as powerful. It depends on the field state. Second Plains would be ideal, just to get that out of the way. There we go. Their mana's tapped, so we can attack. Up to 21. We could go up to 26 potentially, if there's nothing on the field. Sorry about that. Let me silence this. One, two. Wow, we do have it. This is crazy. Let's gain 4 life right now. Make 2 angels. And we can revitalize on their end step. Cycling for Ominous Seas like a madman. Or lady, I guess. Stuck on land, even with all the cycling. And we've got a perfect board state, so that's no surprise there. We go first, hand looks fine, a little slow, but I mean, we have our Vito, we have our Aerie, and we have some life gain once we get there. These ghouls are kind of just filler. Looking for more land, so everything else can go to the bottom through our scries. Griffin in play. Let's try to while out. Just go for it. Just go for it. No counters. No disruption. Head down. Go for it. That Revitalize, or Revitalize, Neutralize is a counter for 3. So it's a good thing we went for it, I think. Let's bait with Light of Hope for 4 life, and then we'll Revitalize after the counter. And then that gets us a draw, which is pretty beneficial, I think. Wow. Thanks. Do I want to attack into open mana? No. There's her meaning, so we could have. Potentially just missing out on 1 damage, but I'm not looking to jump into any flash blockers and lose our main engine. We do anyways. Let's get our ghoul out. If it gets removed, we bring them both back with a Griffin. Woof. Oh, it gets exiled instead. Griffin's low enough that he can't take it. Up to 27. Take our Griffin. Ghoul in play. We can sack the Ghoul to draw a card. If there's removal. It's a good card for said exile. Whoa, we each gain 5 life. I wish I had Vito in play. Ugh! Right? That's a combo wombo card. We each draw a card as well. Interesting. Our turn. Play the lands. Are we attacking into anything? I don't think so. Let's play the Patrician. Trying to pull that counter. And then we attack. Okay. I mean, Patrician's good, but it's not our main form of output here. And this is only sorcery speed, but the mana is tapped now, which means we can attack free and clear, right? It's got vigilance. We can make our Angel. We can sacrifice our Ghoul because it's tapped anyways. And at instant speed, we can bring it back. But this is at the beginning of our end step, so we need to keep that Light of Hope in our turn, or in our hand until next turn, and then it will bring the ghouls back and trigger our Griffin Aerie. The opponent needs another field wipe here. Teferi from the Grave with ECD is pretty cool. We could have destroyed it, but I mean, just let him have it. I'd rather the life gain. I don't think they're anywhere near getting this, right? As well. So we're going to go for the same kind of technique where we try to pull his mana so we know there's not flash blockers. That doesn't seem to be the case. We have to do this now before he minuses us. Right? Teferi could do that instant speed. Could have already done it. And this is sorcery speed, so not in response. But doing that, making our Angel. Let's hit for 2. He pluses, so it goes to 6 and then dies. Unless there's a petty theft, something. Dunzo. Let's... We have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage on board. I don't want to play into a Shatter the Sky is the problem. We're gonna leave it. Keep some cards in our hand. Another Teferi.
After 1,000 years, I'm getting the hang of this.
So again, we need to immediately do this before Teferi minuses on us. Takes the draw. Discards the land.
Must have missed something.
Lethal next turn, let's just hold on. We've got 2 ghouls to bring back after the wipe here. Right, bummer, but we seen that coming. It was too good to be true. Oh, that's amazing. No counter magic. Let's take our 4 life. Play our bounty. The ghouls come back. 2 griffins come back. Oh, only 1 ghoul. This one got exiled by an ECD. $38 life. Pretty healthy. The LSED protects us from instant speed targeted stuff like petty theft. We only have 8 damage on the field. Oh, wow. Keeping our ghoul alive. This is annoying for me. Or do we just want to bring the ghouls back with the griffins? That's annoying. I think we leave his enchantments and we just bring the griffins back online next turn. An Aerie, that sucks. I would have really enjoyed that. No haste. Yeah. They have to get above 20 life. Let's take the ghoul back. We have lethal next turn. Watch us mill our Vito. 2 land, okay. Things cost more to cast. And we just take this damage. There's gonna be a field wipe after. There has to be. Negative. That is lethal damage. Petty thefts. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know how they'll get their life up and have 2 color permanents on the field. So I'm inclined to leave it and force the field wipe. So much land. We have mana for Alced. Griffins come out. Ghoul comes out. They 100% need to wipe the field. Fairy in play.
If I don't have a plan, I'll just make one up.
They only have 2 color mana within their deck as well, so... Not sure what they would have for multicolored that they could cheat out. Patrician, Baneslayer, not good. We have quite a bit of damage in the air, though. They're gonna shut out this 4/4, or just wipe the field. Both are annoying. Down to 25 cards. We're, oof, getting milled hard here, actually. Oh, that was our win con. Two Vitos. 3 Vitos gone. We have 1 more in the deck. 4.5% chance to draw it. Ouch. We're gonna get milled out. Life gain off the top, not too bad. Land, that's fine. Up to 17. Shoot. Oh, nice. Let me draw another land, just absolutely nothing. Our opponent's breaking the game. We're gonna get milled out. 2 lands off the top again, not the worst. The Ghoul is not good enough, though. Right? It does not beat that giant. Down to 12. Down to 10. There goes our Vito. Cry, they're at 17. This was our match to win, and we lost it. We came close, though. Really good round. Getting milled out, too, at the end. I didn't expect that. I was not worried about a mill condition whatsoever. Oh, wow. There's no way. Like, it takes us 6 turns to do that much damage, so... We don't even have that many opportunities to draw cards. Stop it. Stop it. They just use it for the life gain and mill. Ghoul's gone. We could have drawn a card there, but game's over anyways. Let's just click through these phases really quick. Alright, we don't really want to draw a card either. Technically we're milling ourselves, but it doesn't matter. Good game. I actually had a lot of fun there. Cool beans. We go first 4 lands directly into our Baneslayer. Let's play outside first to protect our speaker. Temple of Silence can go in first. The Aerie's great. Ooh, I do not like shrines. They get way out of control. Revitalize, interesting. Main phase as well, looking for land potentially. There's the land, gets the scry for the next one. Stays at the top as well. That's a really good drop for us here. They're tapped, so we can take the hit up to 25. Play the Ghoul. Baneslayer is in play next turn. We also go to 27 and can make our 4/4 Angel. Wow, so we can actually give an enchantment protection from green, right? That does kind of mess with our life gain, though, for this turn. Come on, man. Mana's tapped. Let's just do the do. At 26. Next turn we go to 27. We also can gain the Griffin next turn. Main deck Barrier Breach. Into a Shatter. Wow. Our worst nightmare. Let's take our Griffin here. We're at 29, so we can make our Angels next turn. The Ghoul comes back as well. Arrow gets sacked, plays the additional land, goes to 3. No land. They need another Shatter. $13 damage in play. Are you serious? Let's take our draw. We get another draw. Griffin in play, both Ghouls back. And a third. Woof. Recovering from these shatters like it ain't no thing. Another shrine, that's fine. As long as there's not another shatter. Right, we have lethal on board again. Uro can hit. He is playing Uro, so up to 14. Plus, he's got that nice blocker. The booty blocker. Such a great card. We can, you know, shut it down, though. Gain that life. Go in for the smashy. I think that's lethal, isn't it? So close. So close. End our turn. Make the Griffin. We're at 38. We can double sack Ghouls for the draw. So we get to draw 3 cards here. A little bit of life gain would be great. That's not quite enough. Ooh. Alright. Down to 4. We're at 36. Flooding the field again. There is not enough for another Uro, at least from Escape. He could have one in his hand. They could have one in their hand, I should say. Up to 6. I think they're gonna recover. This is brutal. So many shatters. Right? I don't know. Now he goes for the Griffin Aerie. He's got another barrier breach, yeah. Oh man. They gain 3 life and deal 3 damage to us every turn. This is still a match somehow. I kind of want to get beat up.
I am a scion of Clovis.
I don't even know.
God of fate. My light banishes you from this world.
Woof. Come on. Pass. My turn. We gotta kill Calyx. Oh, interesting.
Forgive my failure, Clovis.
Let's see where this gets us. Right? It's a start. Oh, more shrines. This is so cringe. I'm pretty sure this game's still over, though. Right? He can play another arrow. I love land. They deal damage to it, we just take the draw. A 1 ghoul, 2 ghoul, 3 ghoul. Let's take the draw. Land! You guys know I love land. I'm gonna get some merch made up. I love land. It's like Brick off of Anchorman. Whoa. Whoa. Right? Whoa. 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 That's crazy. Replenishes their hand too. Woof. Another really good engaging match here. Shrine attacks. This has gone on too long. We had a chance. We got lucky. But, yikes, right? Earl can re-enter. We should have scryed first because he's gonna instant speed kill us. And then we could have controlled our drop. Little misplays. Now we're just gonna draw another land instead. Stop it. I don't want to take any damage. This guy. I do like these draws though. We need to keep our speaker until we get an LSAT, and then we can give it protection from red. Hey, I'll draw again. Wow. I wish we had Heliod's intervention. We could nuke these enchantments. They can only do that if they exile a land or a shrine. But they draw so many cards that there's no way that they don't get one. So we might just save this and nuke an Uro. It's just psycho, right? There's no way there's not a land or a shrine in there, you know what I mean? Alright, he just discarded one, for example. They add X mana to a single color, where it's the number of shrines they control. Sanctium of all. That's what I'm talking about. Let's really get serious about this shrine business. Scrying. They're at 24, we're at 27, so they're not really outdrawing us that much. The Shrine of the Fang, though, is going to deal so much damage. For 7 is all our mana. And we're gonna give this minus X, I guess. It should deal 7 damage, unless he can instant speed this shrine again. Negative. It's a little bit, right? I still think we're in a very bad position, but it's a start. We get all of the ghouls back, right? That's a good start. We make a griffin as well. We are trying our best, but struggling. Alright. Revitalize, and now these shrines pop off. in like such a big way. Search your library for and a graveyard for a shrine. Put it into the battlefield. I'm not sure what shrines they don't have already, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. We're in standard, so that's all we have. All his shrines trigger an additional time if he wants. If they want. Oh no. Yeah, 12 damage. Draws 12 cards potentially. Declines it. Smart man. Smart individual. I gotta quit doing that. Ladies play this game too. And apparently hedgehogs. I guess they're pretty good at it. Just casual 12 extra mana as well. Woof. Calyx! Get out of here, bro!
Shellfish will be brought to order by my hand.
We have no mana to sack our ghouls though, and this makes me sad. So if there's a shatter, we would be SOL. No draws, we lose everything. All we have is a land. It's just as good, if not better. Ghouls are odd, Speaker is odd, Griffin is even. I guess that's helpful somehow. Just when you think you're coming back, you know what I mean? All your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations just get crushed. Welcome to the arena. If you don't like it, go play Runeterra. We're at 17, our opponent's at 29, has firm command of the game. I don't envision us coming back ever again. Did we endure all of these shatters? 3 shatters in exile. Plus an extinction event. And I love land. Yeah, I wouldn't want to give me a Baneslayer Angel or anything off the top. That wouldn't be nice. Yes, bro. Revitalize yourself. More cards. They are down to 14, right? That's aggressive. I think that deals enough damage, though, when Uro attacks just to kill us. Woo! Doubling down on Sanctum of the Fangs is like... Oh, Sanctum of Stone Fangs. It's more hardcore than that, actually. Woof. That's lethal. That is an amazing game. We've been getting, you know, a little bit bruised up here, but having some of the better games that I've had within Arena in a while. So we won a couple matches really quickly. That's great. And then we had a couple really good games that we lost. You know, maybe a bummer, but when I play 20-minute best of 1 match of Magic that goes back and forth like 3 or 4 times, like, oh, I'm going to win. Oh, no, they're going to win. Oh, I'm going to win. That is good. And that is the reason I play Magic. Wow. I absolutely love it. Being so sure on something and then have it taken right away from you and then doing that in reverse. It's good times. So this was Life Skills, the upgraded starter deck within Magic: The Gathering Arena. I mentioned that we're going to talk about other upgrades. Selfless Savior. Do you find yourself being hit with Shatter the Sky and losing your Dovin's Vito and being frustrated? No longer. With Selfless Savior, this new 2020 pup can protect your creatures with Indestructible. No more field wipes. You're still going to get hit with Exiles, though, which is a bummer. So there's no way to protect from Extinction Event, and this hurts. However, Selfless Savior doesn't have lifelink, right? Outside of Life's Bounty has lifelink. Similar effect, right? The protection, Indestructible. Protection doesn't do the field wipes. It does single target. The Indestructible does single target and the wipes, but it doesn't have life gain. So you see there's a little bit of a trade-off there. We want to gain life within the deck. So the choice is yours. You let me know how it works out. Selfless Savior is still a great card within the deck. Could replace Outside of Life's Bounty. Charming Prince, a nice 2-drop. It's a 2/2. When he enters the battlefield, scry 2, you gain 3 life, or exile another target creature you own, return it to the battlefield, yada yada. So, as far as returning things to the battlefield, don't need it, don't care for it. We have no use for it. You gain 3 life. Okay. that triggers all of our stuff, right? That's going to trigger our ghouls. That's going to trigger our Aeries. That triggers Vito. It triggers the Patrician. Prince Charming goes in the deck pretty nicely. This could replace, you know, maybe a Patrician goes down to 3. Maybe a Revitalize. It's really up to you. You could even trim the Clackbridge Troll and the Intervention for your Prince Charming. It's going to be up to you, right? These are just potential routes to go if you don't have some of the cards that I put in the deck. Maybe you've got these ones instead, and it's going to give you more ideas. And it's like, oh, I've got a card just like that, even though it's not this one. So Helioid, the Sun's Crown, this is amazing. It's a 5/5 indestructible. As long as your devotion to white is less than 5, it's not a creature. The devotion to 5 might be a hard thing here. However, that's not why we need it. We can pay 2, another target creature you control gains a lifelink until end of turn. Sign me up. And then whenever a creature, or whenever you gain life in general, I should say, it doesn't have to be a creature gaining you life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. And we have a ton of life gain, which means counters on stuff, which means pushing up, you know, probably our Patrician because it has flying, or, you know, the Griffins. So we can really help increase the strength of our creatures through the +1/+1 counters via life gain from Helioid. We've got another intervention. Maybe you liked gaining X life, and that was great. But you know what's better than Erebus? Which has removal tag to it, which is good. The Helioid's intervention. Now, this didn't come with the deck, so I didn't include it, but I think it fits really, really good. It's similar. It costs a little bit more. We have to pay 2 planes plus X. Instant speed, though, which is nice as well. Choose 1, destroy X artifacts and or enchantments. You know, we've seen a lot of pesky artifacts and enchantments, and this would have saved us. Target player gains twice X life. Twice X life! So you can see just how nasty that can get when comboed with your Vito. And I think potentially this is an amazing card to put into the deck if you have it. So there you have it, you guys. That was the Life Skills Upgrade Guide. We talked about what cards we added, why we added them, you know, other cards that could potentially go that might not fit right with the deck. And then we talked about alternative upgrade routes for you to take if you don't have those cards and you're looking just to explore this deck and make it the best it can be no matter what. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I have to give a huge shout out to MTGA Assistant. They have all the stuff you could ever want. Your deck stats, deck write-ups, deck videos, you know, the search where you can just look up decks, recent events so you can see which decks are doing best in tournaments in different like formats, right? You can see the metagame for different formats as well within both paper and the events, and Arena, which is very cool. So there is so much information within the MTGA Assistant. I showed you guys the link at the beginning of the video. If you don't remember it, it is right here though. You just go into all of my videos, scroll down. Here is the MTGA Assistant link. It is the Overwolf one. And if you're looking for anything else, because I am live on YouTube every morning, 6 a.m. PST, just open the Linktree link. It's the first link in my descriptions. It's going to give you everything. You're going to get the assistant link again, our Discord link, our deck lists, our YouTube, our Twitch, our cash prize tournaments, which you should definitely check out. And then you can even support us on Patreon and check out our projects that we're working on. We've got a new website. We're trying to convert our handbook onto the website, but it's a pain. But nonetheless, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, hit that bell icon, and most importantly, go have yourselves a wicked magical day. Take care, and we'll see you soon.